the e-learning teachers through GELA, one of the things that we're seeing is that those teachers are working really hard to make engaging courses. They're also working really hard to make themselves available. So if a student really needs a one-on-one session face-to-face to be able to ask some questions and get some feedback, they're really good about making themselves available. But for the most part, the courses are so engaging. The tools that they're using, students are quick to connect with the teachers and with the material, and are really highly engaged in what's going on in those courses. I think the big thing is just getting people aware and familiar with doing an e-learning course. I think there's a lot of anxiety for students having not taken this before, but I think what we're seeing is that the teachers are aware of this, and they're working really hard to make those connections with students. And that from that perspective, that we're seeing great success rates in the courses. Students are successful, that this isn't something that a student can't do, and that any student who has the access to the technology and the will to take the course can be successful in the course. And I think one of the ways that we're helping students, regardless of what technology or access they have to technology, is that there's so many connections within our communities, whether it be libraries or community centers, or even summer school itself, where we make a computer lab available to a student.
The thing I like about blended learning is that it gives me time to spend one-on-one time with the students who need the extra help. Blended learning gives me an opportunity to set up my courses and lessons in such a way that it sort of diversifies the learning so that it helps all students with different learning abilities. But when they need that one-on-one time, I'm free to actually go around and help them out.
And have you found that particularly in terms of alternative education?
With alternative, it's ideal for alternative. Students come in here for one reason or another. They can't make it in all the time, so they're at all different levels in the course. And so it's really important for me to be able to get around and spend that one-on-one time and help them get moving and motivate them. And blended learning is perfect because we have students who are slower than some others. We have students who are actually trying to fast track their education, and so they can move as quickly through the program as they want to. This is my first year here, and comparing it to the typical classrooms that I've been in the past, I think that this is sort of, again, an ideal because I can find out what works best with the students, and I can offer it to them. And I don't have to offer to just sort of a text-based. I can do video-based, I can do gameplay, and I can offer all those in the D2L system. And in that way the students can pick and choose what works best for them, and the learning is just blossoms out. The challenges are trying to find what works best for these students here. They've had a lot of problems in the past when it comes to their successes in education, and they get discouraged very easily. So I'm trying to build a system where there's a lot of encouragement all the way through, and trying to make sure that they're feeling good about their progress, and designing it that way. I can't just leave it as a typical presentation, of course. I have to find what works for these students, and I'm starting to find that way.
My role has changed from really teacher-centered lessons to helping individual students work on whatever they're working on. So it's a lot different than having a given lesson that day and everyone's at the same spot. And for us with continuous intake, like I just had a new student today. Instead of me standing up here and teaching a lesson on something that he hasn't had the previous 2 months to get, he started on Unit 1.
The class, I like it a lot. It's better than books. It's better than I'd rather do that online stuff than anything else.
What are the main things that you really like about it?
Just
You're gonna do the same thing back.
I don't know, that it's online. I can when I do projects, it's a lot more faster because it just tells me what to do and stuff like that, and I just do it really quick. I'm a lot faster on the computer than just writing it down.
It's become easier to help students who aren't always able to be here keep on top of things, and it allows us to still do our hands-on work in class when they're not here. So it lets everyone stay at the same pace, and if someone does need to move ahead, I usually keep one unit at the end where they can work on it if they have extra time. I've seen that the students who, like I said, aren't able to be here are able to stay more on top of their work, and so have better success rates. I would say like my favorite thing about this is that even sometimes when we don't have a resource, we're still able to give students an enriched learning experience, and that I think means a lot to them and to us. The adult learners have a lot more of a struggle with it, just getting used to the computers themselves. It's not always the learning platform, but getting used to how a computer works, where to save things, where to move things around. It seems to be a lot for them at once. By the end, they usually thank you and say that, you know, I can move around so much easier now.
I had anxiety problems in grade 9 and grade 10, and I spoke to my doctor and she gave me a letter excusing me from school, and I had to be homeschooled for a while there, and everything I did was online. It was e-learning, and it helped me a lot. I learned how to work independently, and my grades went up a great amount. It was very comfortable for me, and it actually encouraged me to come back and try again.
That's awesome. How have you found your learning experience now that you've come back and you've got sort of a mixture of both environments?
I find it a lot better now that GELA has e-learning, because that's something that I was comfortable with and familiar with, so it does help a lot. It's more interactive. You have someone there that's, you know, still willing to talk to you whenever you need help, instead of just sitting there and trying to figure it out, not knowing, and coming back to school the next day saying, oh, I didn't do it because I don't know what to do. You have someone there to help.
That's great. And I see in your classroom right now you've got sort of a mixture of 2 classes actually happening at once. So how do you find that works?
It's pretty good. I mean, everyone's working at their own pace, you know, whatever potential they have.
And are you on track to graduate?
I am.
When are you going to graduate?
Well, I came to GELA mainly for the credit recovery because when I had anxiety, I was missing a lot of school because I was too scared to go.
Right.
But I'm definitely motivated to graduate now that I'm at GELA. I should graduate next year.